What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Monday, November 28th. It's a few days after Thanksgiving, and I know we all are fat and happy. Some of us more happier than others because our team won. And we had a excellent week of football. Excellent week of football. And we're going to get into that right now. And I know we talked about it last week. The Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks being in the front runner of the NFC. And I tell you, we have to reconsider that, especially after the 14-5 loss that the Seattle Seahawks took to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I tell you, they looked mortal. Jameis Winston came right out of the gates, lighting them up deep, was very successful. They were all over Russell Wilson. It's never a good thing when your quarterback's hitting the dirt as much as he was, and they just had pressure on all sides, everywhere, making it difficult for them to move the football. And if you watch the Dallas and Washington game, both offenses are what we expected. Dallas did what was expected. Now, statistically, we talked about the Cowboys coming out, having to win time of possession, and the Redskins having to win time of possession to have an opportunity. Now, we all know they left some points on the board early. Very unfortunate for that team. But the Redskins came out and put points and put yards on the Dallas Cowboys, and yet they still win. Now, it seems like every week the Dallas Cowboys get something different thrown their way. Some different type of scheme, some different way of having to win. And yet offensively, even if they start slow in some of the bigger games, they seem to find a way to win. And I think at 10-1, with some of the games they have gone through, we have to now take a look at this Cowboys team and say that they are the front runners of the NFC, and that they are the team leading the NFC. See, they haven't shown or haven't done anything that even gives us a indication that they shouldn't be considered that. And yes, we know their defense isn't that great, but Rob Marinelli deserves a lot of credit for what he's put together on this football field. The lack of talent, and that's not taking anything away from this team. It's just that this team is defensively is challenged, and yet they still seem to find a way to win ball games. And here they are sitting 10-1. And I know there's a lot of you that don't like it, but you got to respect it. And once again, in that Washington game, they did what they had to do, and just Washington's defense just simply has to find a way to stop someone at least once or twice. And I know a lot of the fans, they left 10 points on the field at least, and we talked about that after the game. I had a short video on Facebook Live, and we talked a little bit about that. They did leave some points on the field, and that maybe was the difference, but you have to factor that in. I thought that was coaching's getting a little cutesy out there, not sticking to what they do best, and really gave Dallas an opportunity. They took that opportunity. So it pretty much seems like the Dallas Cowboys have the lock on the division. Now, many want to argue that on several occasions or this season that Dak Prescott, he's not throwing the ball that much. So it's really not that impressive. And yeah, he only threw the ball 24 times. Only 195 yards in that game, 1 touchdown. He was sacked only once for 5. He did have a rushing touchdown. But he only threw the ball 24 times. And many are saying, hey, he doesn't throw the ball that much. Well, we can go back to week 1. And right out of the gate, he threw the ball 45 times. He was 55%. Not great, not bad. Well, he threw the ball in week 8 for 39 times, 48%, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They still won the ball game. A lot of it on the back. He was able to run a touchdown in himself that week, but, Zeke has been very helpful. He also threw the ball again in believe it is week 11 for 36 times. Then again, week 10, 32 times. Week 4, 32 times. Those times he's at least 70% and above in the passer completion percentage. That's very, very well. You can't ask for anything better than that. Okay? I don't really like the passer rating, but his passer rating has been above 100 in all of but 2 games this season. In both of those games, one being a loss to the Giants early that everyone feels that they had the opportunity to win. I won't say they would have won, but Dan Bailey is pretty much is one lockdown you can count on all day, every day to make kicks. And this dude, all day, every day, makes kicks. So yeah, they probably could be 11-0, but it is what it is, right? They're 10-1. They lost that game, and all but 2 games he's been above 100% in the passer rating. Now, with that being said, they weren't the only guys who played football this weekend. We had a lot of great football, and if you missed it, shame on you. You look at the Vikings game. In the Lions, that was another game that was a must-win for both teams. They're both fighting for division, trying to win a division. As we talked about here on this show, I think it's 3 teams come out of the NFC East. I don't see any other division as tough as the NFC East in the NFC. You look at the Buffalo Bills and Jaguars. The Jags found some life and were fighting to get a win this weekend. Came short though, but it was still an entertaining game to watch. The Bears and Barkley. Matt Barkley? Yeah, Matt Barkley coming out, slinging the rock around, looking halfway decent doing it too. Guys just don't catch the ball for the Chicago Bears. I mean, my goodness, man. I mean, he had a short touchdown twice to win this game and drop the bacon on the floor. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. I don't get it at all. But the guy's got to get some hands. Anyway, Tennessee ends up winning that game. The Dolphins play a great game against the 49ers. 49ers seem to be up and down, but they find themselves in a lot of games. One of my favorite games of the weekend, though, the Raiders and the Panthers. Raiders looked like they were going to run away with it for a bit, and Carolina looked to be almost dead in the water. And then they come fighting back in the third quarter, putting up an egg in the third quarter for the Raiders and make that thing a ball game. But as usual, man, their offense just continues to find ways to win. Many think, though, that that's going to come back and bite them down the stretch. And hopefully, I think they're going to get Alton Smith back. And then the play of Khalil Mack, it's going to help out a lot, but it's going to have to be consistent. One thing about it, they do allow a lot of points. Again, they allowed 32 points, Carolina Panthers, and you're not going to be able to outscore everyone. But with that being said, harping on their defense, if you look around at all the elite teams, all the teams that we would talk about making the playoffs or having a Super Bowl run chance, every team has a flaw. Most of the time, it's on defense. Sometimes it's on both sides of the ball. But every team has a defensive flaw that can be exposed. So they faced a lot of teams, quality teams this year, and they've come up on the upside of those particular wins. In the game to cap it all off for the night, the Chiefs, the lunch pail kids, the Chiefs, bringing their lunch pails to work and winning it in overtime over the Denver Broncos. And we have to start making a little bit of a consideration for Alex Smith and this football team. I know Alex has been considered a guy who's a game manager, and I know it does look that way. Nothing they do is pretty. Nothing they do is exciting or over the top or dramatic. But they simply go out. They bring their picks and shovels out there. They bring their lunch pails to work, and they just grind it out. It's not pretty. It's ugly at times. Sometimes you're looking at this game, and you're like, I don't even know how they managed to win this game. And it was a defensive battle for most of the game Sunday night. And if you like to see points, boy, you were disappointed. But that's what football is all about right there. Two defenses, two teams just slugging it out. Sometimes they were taking what the defense was given, and if that meant that they were going to punt the football, that's exactly what they did. And just methodically went about their game plan, understanding what their identity is as a football team, and they continue to win. And you can see that this Chiefs team is taking on the identity and has a full identity of Andy Reid. And Andy Reid deserves a lot of credit for what he's doing with very little. Not a lot of big name wide receivers. They don't have Charles back there running the football. It's a running back by committee type of deal. Guys are in and out. And yet they continue to put together and string together wins. And here they are. Big win for both teams. They had to find a way to win that in that tight division there in the AFC West. It's one of the best divisions in football, man. If not, it is the best division in football, second to the NFC East. Well, tonight caps it all off. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 5-5, 0-3 in the division. And we have the Green Bay Packers, who have all been but disappointing. Do they still have a shot in that division that is ever so changing? And really don't know if the Detroit Lions are going to take a hold of it yet, but they are 7-4, 2-2 in the division, and they do have a pretty good lead right now. But it is the NFL and things can change, so they want to at least be able to have a chance to win the division. I don't see any other teams coming out of any other divisions in the NFC to be in the playoffs. I think Washington will finish up, and the Giants will finish up and secure those spots in the playoff picture. But we know the Vikings have been reeling, and the Lions at times and have shown in their history that they are a team that when things are going good or when they can find a way to be victorious, they snatch defeat from the jaws of victory on many occasions. So the writing is still, the story is still yet to be written there. Now, when you look at this game, when you look at these two teams, both teams are capable of putting up over 350 yards. The problem is, though, the Green Bay Packers can't stop anybody. And we saw that on Sunday night against the Washington Redskins when we last saw them. Washington, a team that has looked horrible on primetime games and just straight up in the trenches mauled them. They manhandled them in the trenches. The young man, Fat Rob, gets it done in running the football and running it well. 42 points on the day. And this team on defense allows 27.6 points. That's not a good look when you can only score 24 points a game. And guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles are only allowing 18 points a game. So this is going to be a tough matchup for Green Bay. They're also in Philadelphia, a tough place to play. And don't think that these Eagles don't understand what's at stake here, especially when they're 0-3 in a division. They not only have to keep pace with their record, but now down the stretch, when they get to see their division foes again, they're going to have to shore these things up. They're going to have to get these wins now and at least make it 3-3 in the division race, because it's going to be a tight one over there, and divisional records are going to matter. Now, who do I have in this game? Well, if you're not aware, I only lost one game in the picks this week, and that was picking the Cleveland Browns because I felt like the Cleveland Browns would do a win. Felt like they could get an upset the way the Giants have been playing, and they managed to pull it out. So I suffered a loss. I took a shot there. I missed. It's okay. But I'm going to take the Eagles tonight. And here's why. First of all, they're at home. This is a well-coached ball club. They've looked flawless, even though they haven't been very, very good in the last couple of weeks. They've struggled, and it's been on display. We've seen it, but they've just been out of games, not getting blown out or destroyed. They've just been out of games. And you look at their last game against the Seahawks, a tough draw, having to go all the way across town, all the way across the country to play the Seahawks. That was a tough one. They got the win over the Falcons the week before. They had a tough divisional matchup against the Giants. Just lost that one due to receivers not stepping up. But I expect them to be able to get it done here at home. They'll be in the comfort of their own home on Monday night. And when the lights are bright, the Eagles shine brighter. And the Packers just aren't that good this year. Well, enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll talk Thursday Night Football in the middle of the week. It's going to be awesome week as we get down the stretch, starting to fight for these playoff battles, teams knowing what's at stake, getting into the playoffs. This is what football is all about. December football is always the best. And we'll see if the Dallas Cowboys can rewrite the history books for December. We'll talk a little bit about that as well this week. Again, subscribe to the show on iTunes. We're on iTunes. We're on the YouTube, SoundCloud. You can subscribe anywhere this show is posted there. Also on my Facebook page. Also on the Straight Shooting Sports Talk Facebook page as well. If you want to get at me at any time, you can shoot me an email at straightshootingst@gmail.com. Any questions, any thoughts, we'll discuss it here on this show. If you just want to talk shop or you want to shoot me a question through Twitter, you can also get at me there at notbland21. And you can see my work. You can see my work there covering the NFL on sportsjourney.com. That's sportsjourney.com. That's where you can see my work and my other colleagues' work with Diane Cheeseborough and the Lake Lewis of USA Today Sports Media Group. And you can check out the Redskins Wire as well for all you Redskins fans who listen to this show. So thanks very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, crab cake and football. Nice. That's what Maryland does.